Hey, I'm Randy,
And I'm Madi.
and we are Me, You, and the Blended Crew.
And
And
this
this
is
is
how
how
we
we
met.
met. I think you should start. I don't want to start. This goes back to the summer of 2015, and I was single and dating, and I had my two kids, and they were small. I think they were like 3 and 6 years old, and so I needed to keep that as a factor in the back of my mind. But for all intents and purposes, I was just out there dating and seeing what I liked and trying to find more of what I really wanted. And so I was exploring. And so my options were kind of open. My mind was open to seeing what was out there, but I knew there were a lot of things that I just really didn't care for. And so I set some specific filters in my catchment of my profile on Match.
So you went on Match.
I went on Match. That was new for me. Never did online dating before. And I tried to filter down what I could in a number of ways, based on physical preferences, hair, this, that, and the other thing.
Why do
as
you
well.
seem uncomfortable? You're like...
I don't know. I don't know. I just it's kind of personal. It's a little bit awkward talking about it, but
How many girls did you meet on Match?
I met a bunch, but some of them were.
A bunch?
I met a bunch, but they were
Oh,
they were just not. They just weren't right. They just weren't. I mean, it was a learning experience, but some seemed right on the onset, but eventually it just didn't work out. So nothing bad, but nothing great. So I decided to start fresh, and I changed. What do you call them?
Your parameters?
No, service companies. Changed from
the
Match to
you just changed the online dating app.
yeah, different app. So I decided to open up a Plenty of Fish account, and that's when things started to get a little bit interesting. Take it away.
Well, yes, it all started in the summer of 2015, and I had made the decision that summer. I'd been single longer than you had, and at that point, I had made the decision that I was ready for the person that I would invest in and hopefully be with till the road ends. And so, I was talking about this with my girlfriends, and we were just all, hanging out on a girls' night, and we were having some wine, and they set up an account for me on Plenty of Fish, and we found my best picture, and then I kind of forgot about it until the next morning when I went to check my phone, and the inbox icon had like a 99 with a little plus next to it, which meant I had like over 100 messages. So it seems that these apps send an alert to everyone. There's like fresh meat. And so everyone,
That's exactly what it is.
yeah, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, so everyone sends you, like their wittiest messages and stuff. So I was entertained. I was laying in bed, like just swiping and like checking people out. But I realized that it wasn't fair because I wasn't, like one person was melding into the next, and so I wasn't giving each person like individual attention. So it would be like, 20 guys down. I'd be like, oh, there was one guy back there, and then by then I forgot what his screen name was or whatever. So I deactivated that account and created a new one. I posted no picture of myself and a simple bio, and that gave me access to their database, which had a big pool of eligible bachelors. So, because I wanted to be the one to pick. I wanted to be the one to select. I felt like at this point in my life I could be selective. And so I wanted to make sure that the person that I chose had all the qualities that I needed, that I knew by now that I needed in a life partner. And so that's how my search started. Unlike you.
What are you talking about? You were interested in dating, you were dating, and I was dating too.
No, but it wasn't like so many guys and so many this. I just I narrowed it down real quick.
Well, before that you were dating, so it's not that significant. But the reality of it is, I tried and failed and tried and failed, and I decided to try something different. And when I tried that new platform, that being Plenty of Fish, and I'm not touting the company, I think it did its job. Match could have worked, it just didn't work for me. But in setting up the Plenty of Fish, I just kept tweaking my profile along the way, and tried to put my best foot forward. And lo and behold, you came knocking.
Well, yeah, this is this is what happened. I decided that I wanted to date a tall guy. That was just nothing. That wasn't something that was important to me before. Then I figured, all right, if I'm gonna have to look at this person for the rest of my life, I want to look up, and I wanted him to be, like nice and fit and whatever, because the bigger you are, the smaller I look. So it's all selfish. But I'm kidding. What I wanted was someone that took care of himself, was healthy, and and looked good. So, I also wanted someone that spoke a different language. I feel that people that speak a different language can think differently and are open to different cultures. I wanted someone with children, because I already had the children that the amount of children, biological children that I wanted. So I wanted someone with children. I wanted someone that could cook because I like to eat. I also wanted someone that could dance because dance has always been very important to me. So when I did all that, like I personally feel that I developed an algorithm for online dating, because that narrowed my pool enough that I had a good amount of quality men to select from.
What was that funny? Was that funny about that? So as I was saying, someone came knocking at my door and sent me a message. Do you remember what that message said?
Well, no. Backtrack to your profile. What did you post on your profile? This man came across so arrogant.
You picked me. So listen, as arrogant as I may have come across, it still worked. Because what I had done is I clearly stated, if you smoke, don't call me. If you live more than 15 miles away, don't call me. And the reason I said don't call me if you live more than 15 miles away is because I felt that my time was too valuable to drive out of state, out of the borough, just an extreme distance for my own personal pleasure. So I was into a dating mode, but I felt that it wasn't necessary to go long distance. So I said, stay within 15 miles, don't call me otherwise. And yeah, that might come across a little bit awkward, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Didn't matter. So yeah.
No, wait. Because I read his profile, and his profile.
I had a lot of detail. I had a lot of stuff. I said, I want this, I want that. But I wasn't finding what I was looking for, because apparently all the women and Match wanted the same thing. They wanted someone to go take long walks on the beach. They wanted to find their partner in crime. They wanted somebody to cook, take care of their kids. They wanted all these things pretty much consistently across the board. Everybody wanted the same thing. So it was like dating the same woman all over again. And there was plenty of catfish going on there with 15-year-old photos, and it was a headache. It was a headache.
Well, I narrowed it down to like 4 or 5 people, and that's when then I put some pictures up. And you just reminded me because you mentioned catfishing. My fear was that, with the first profile that I put up, we put up the best picture of me, and that's not what I look like all the time. Like, I look regular. So I figured the person that that comes into my life should know that I have different versions of me. One day I'm curly hair, one day I'm straight hair, one day I'm dressed up, one day I'm in yoga pants. So what I decided to do was put a picture of me with makeup, without makeup, with curly hair, with straight hair.
That makes sense, because what I was seeing was just a whole bunch of these Instagram wannabe models taking their duck face, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Their duck face photos, and all the high angle, and you couldn't tell what anybody really looked like, and so much makeup, and I just can't stand that. I wanted somebody natural. I didn't want made up beauty, I wanted natural beauty, and so when you came knocking and you had a very basic profile, not really much to it, and you only had a couple of photos, but one of them was a collage type, so you had about 9 pictures in one, and it looked like you were laying down in bed and you just started snapping pictures of yourself making different faces, and it was kind of cute. Your hair was curly in one, straight in another, you were wearing a formal dress in another, and from a special event or something, I presume. And it gave me enough. So I decided to reply.
Well, the message I sent was based on his profile because I thought it was like, who the hell does he think he is? Because it said, don't bother contacting me if you're not within my 15-mile radius. I'm like, what?
And at that point in time, I was living in Queens, New York, working in Brooklyn. So my day started in Queens and I had to schlep to Brooklyn on a daily basis. So that was a 45-minute commute away from where Marty was in Long Island. So Marty was from Brooklyn, essentially 50 plus miles away, and from where I lived in Queens, about 35 miles away. So coming out of work to visit her or to meet up at any point in time was, during rush hour, a 2-hour or more adventure.
But that didn't stop you.
So let's talk about our first date.
No, wait.
What do you mean,
I
wait?
never said the message. You interrupted
all
me.
right. Let's get back to the message.
So the message that I sent was, how I introduced myself was, am I within your 15-mile radius? Which I clearly knew I wasn't, but I was just being sarcastic because I thought that was kind of ridiculous. But you responded like, haha, like you thought it was funny or something.
Yeah.
And then, so
that was just the icebreaker.
Yes. Because that was just to capture his attention. And then I followed it up with, do you dance on 1 or 2? Because on his profile he said he liked to dance, or he'd like to dance salsa or whatever. So anyone that dances salsa knows that you either dance on 1 or 2. So I asked that question, and Mr. GQ Smooth over here responded, well, why don't you come out and find out for yourself? And I was like, oh, he's got skills.
So, truth be told, I had no idea what she was talking about. That you never knew, right? You never really knew that.
I just found that out. Are you serious?
3.5 years later, I had no idea what she was talking about. But I just played it off, and it worked. So, guys, don't be intimidated by these questions. Just play it off. Just refer back to your player skills, and default answer is...
If not, he will be posting his player handbook online.
I will have a handbook out shortly. And so I just played it off as best I could, and she fell for it, which was great. And, well, the good news is that I do have I'm a pretty good dancer, and I can pretty much mingle with a little bit of everything. So the date or the plan was to meet at a school, a dance school, for a lesson, and that was to be our first date. And so we had not seen each other yet. We had just been texting, interacting.
We talked on the phone, though.
Talked on the phone, but primarily texting and chatting through the website, through that server, Plenty of Fish. And then we graduated to texting, and then we graduated to phone calls. You know, like any normal relationship, you got to start somewhere. And then it was the point in time that we had to meet.
So, don't look at me like that. So, we had agreed that since I lived so far from him, that we would find a school at a halfway point between us. And, you know, like anyone in this day and age dating online, we didn't give each other our addresses. Like, we were just kind of like, I roundabout live around here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're supposed to meet here. But there's a school, like if I live here, there's a school right here. So, but he doesn't know that I live here. So,
this was so wrong. This was so wrong. So the plan was to meet at the school.
No, but it wasn't. It was a good school. You enjoyed it.
The plan was to meet at the school. She gave me the name. She gave me the address. I plugged it in my GPS, and I'm on my way. Now, on that particular day, I had my kids. I picked them up from school. I needed to make a plan. I dropped them by my mother's along the way in Queens and continued out during rush hour to Long Island. This was over a 2-hour trek for our first meeting. The class was at 6. I got there maybe 6:05. Parked the car, opened the back door, and there was Marty waiting for me.
I wasn't just waiting for you. I had snacks and I had
Well, yeah,
drinks
that's all
for you.
in the grand scheme of things. The point of the matter was I had just a couple of photos to work with. I had a wonderful, wonderful few conversations, a lot of text messaging, and then we got to meet. And so when I opened the door, I was just kind of keeping my fingers crossed that I had not been catfished. And I was very happy with what I met at the door.
Well, yes, because since he was running late, I was standing at the back door waiting for him. And the class was already about to start. So we didn't really have a chance to say much. We just kind of said hello. And I think we kind of gave each other a quick little hug. I felt him up a little bit. And, and I sized him up. He was tall. He was like, okay, he's over 6 feet. So that's good. So then we get into the class. And here's a great tip to anyone that's dating online. Make your first date a dance class. Because I feel like, if you don't have much to say, or if you're nervous or whatever, there's an instructor there talking to you all the time. And they don't want you to talk in class. So you don't have to say too much. So you can kind of ease into the date before you have to say too much. Also, you have mirrors all around you, so you can check the front, the back, the side, everything, every angle. You just gotta see what he's working with. Anyway,
it worked for both of us.
And when I saw him, I was, it was to see that he was true to his profile. He, that I wasn't catfished. He was tall. He had all his teeth. He had nice eyes. He was a good dancer, which I was really impressed by, because I just found out that you didn't even know what dancing on 1 or 2 was.
But at the time, women, at the time. So the dance class went swimmingly.
Wait, no.
What?
And then also, the last part of this little tip is that if you just met someone, then you get to dance with them and
get up close and personal.
If there's chemistry.
That is true. That is true. And so if it wasn't working for myself and Marty, there were plenty of other dance people. No, I'm just kidding. So it's a win. It's a win for the guys, no matter what. Yeah.
Instead of musical chairs.
Well, you're kind of obligated to rotate around in smaller schools, if you don't come with a partner. It's just sort of common practice, and so you just take it in stride. But the fun part of it was exactly what she said. If you didn't have a whole lot of time to chit-chat, you could get in a little conversation when you're dancing. You can check each other out, so you can make sure that the physical thing is there. You can have a little chit-chat, a little social thing is there. It was just a great first meeting.
Yeah.
Wasn't overcomplicated. Didn't have to be over the top. Didn't have to be the greatest school around. It's just something nice.
So see, I mean, I don't even know why you even bring up the fact that it was closer to me than it was to you. You liked it.
Because it wasn't right, Marty, and I will never let that go. It was 49.8 miles for me and 0.2 miles for you.
Listen,
All that aside,
I'm worth it.
you're worth it. And it was a great first date. I look back and laugh at it, and it was a wonderful way to meet. And I think that's really just how things got started. Sparks were flying, and I had to run after that date. I had to go back and get my
Yeah, he was like Cinderella. He's like, oh, it's 7:30.
like the prince. Like the prince, I'd like to
yeah,
say.
true. Okay, whatever.
And,
but if he had the glass slipper, he was like, I gotta go. Which was perfect because it was like an hour and a half.
Yeah, the class.
Yeah, so we got to, we got to do a lot in that little 1 hour and a half, and like I think that's all it took for us to kind of make a decision to explore each other more.
So is that it?
I think that's the very beginning. There's so much more. We've tried to do this video before, but it's just. It's
not easy. It's not easy.
No, to narrow it down to just like how we met, because then there, the children and how we got to where we were and when we did this. Yeah, so that's so much more. And if you guys want to hear about that, because it's really funny and interesting, it's just we can't do it in one take because we did so much.
It was a lot.
So, you can just comment down below. Let us know that you want to, to hear the rest of it. And and we'll do.
Maybe we'll do a part 2. Maybe a part 3. We'll see. But definitely, the Me, You, and the Blended Crew didn't just happen overnight. It was a work in progress, and it required some thought. It required some planning, some teamwork, strategizing. It's not something that you should expect to happen without putting some effort into it, some elbow grease into it. So if you are in the market dating someone with kids and you yourself have kids and you're concerned about making that work and introductions and things of that sort, again, feel free to comment down below, because we may have some pointers that could be helpful. Right? Yes.
And also I feel that for parents, I highly recommend online dating, because you really narrow it down to, so that you don't take time away from your children, meeting a person by happenstance, and then 4 dates later you realize this is not the person that's right. It eliminates all of that. So it's like, for efficiency purposes, honestly, I think that online dating is great. And there are good people out there. I mean, I found you.
Yeah, there definitely are ways to use the system to your advantage. And the thing is, don't hold back. If there are certain pet peeves that you have, you should absolutely put them in there and include it. Eliminate the open mouth eaters. Yeah. Eliminate all the things that absolutely
the mouth breathers,
drive you crazy. Get rid of all of that.
No, because what's cute in the beginning is annoying later on.
It will really aggravate you and get under your skin later. You know how you open mouth breathe and... No, I'm kidding. So yeah, definitely be specific, be direct, be blunt, and you'll hopefully find what you're looking for.
And don't settle for less.
Absolutely. If you're out of your 30s, you really, and you're looking for that happily ever after, be as selective as you can, and hopefully you'll find what you want.
Truly. No, you will find what you want.
Truly, you will.
You believe it. Anyway, so yeah.
That's how we met.
That's how we met.
In a nutshell. If you want the extended story, let us know down below. Me, You, and the Blended Crew. We'll see you guys again soon. If you liked what you saw here, please hit that subscribe button.
Yes, and the notification button so you can be notified for our next videos. Alright guys, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
And 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, go. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, keep going. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. Good job. Good recovery. 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. There you go. 5, 6, 7. 1,